In the grand courts of China's Forbidden City, where emperors ruled and dynasties rose and fell, there lived a woman who never sat on the dragon throne. Yet she controlled it for nearly 5 decades. She never wore the crown, but every decision passed through her hands. This is the story of Empress Dowager Cixi, the queen who lived in shadows, and from those shadows shaped the fate of a nation. Cixi began her life far from royalty. Born in 1835 to a relatively humble Manchu family, she entered the imperial court at just 16 as a low-ranking concubine of the Xianfeng emperor. In a palace teeming with women vying for favor, she did something extraordinary. She gave birth to the emperor's only surviving son. That single act changed everything. From then on, she wasn't just another consort, she was the mother of the future emperor. When the Xianfeng emperor died in 1861, their 5-year-old son became the new emperor, Tongji. And with that, Cixi became Empress Dowager, officially a regent, unofficially the real power behind the throne. She allied with the late emperor's senior widow, Empress Dowager Cixi, and executed a bold coup against a group of powerful ministers who had hoped to control the new boy emperor. Within weeks, she had outmaneuvered the men of the court, seized authority, and quietly begun her reign from behind a silk screen. While the emperors changed, her son, then her nephew, Cixi remained. She ruled from behind a curtain during audiences, never seen, but always heard. She mastered the art of invisibility, wielding immense influence without ever appearing to want it. And yet her fingerprints were everywhere, on the imperial edicts, on foreign treaties, and on the shifting alliances that kept the Qing Dynasty afloat. Cixi was no puppet master hiding in cowardice. She was shrewd, calculating, and above all, patient. She understood the rigid dance of court politics, the brutal calculations of survival. At a time when women were forbidden from engaging in state affairs, she built a parallel throne, one made of tact, intelligence, and sheer will. Her rule was marked by contradiction. She embraced conservative traditions and Confucian ideals, yet at the same time she flirted with reform. She halted modernization efforts one year and pushed them forward the next. She was blamed for the disastrous Boxer Rebellion and the humiliation of foreign invasion, yet later embraced the idea of modern schools, railways, and telegraphs. To some, she was a tyrant clinging to power at all costs. To others, a clever stateswoman doing what she must to hold a crumbling empire together. Her critics accused her of extravagance, like spending massive funds on the renovation of the summer palace while the navy languished. But her supporters argued she was simply doing what every male ruler before her had done, just without the luxury of a throne to justify it. She played the same brutal game of survival, only with twice the scrutiny and half the power. And perhaps that is what makes her legacy so haunting. Cixi was never officially empress in her own right, never coronated, never meant to rule. But rule she did. She pulled the strings from behind screens, navigating a labyrinth of eunuchs, officials, warlords, and foreign diplomats. She kept the empire alive through some of its most turbulent years, not with brute force, but with cunning and grace sharpened like a blade. When she died in 1908, the end of an era was painfully clear. Within 4 years, the Qing Dynasty would fall, and with it, 2,000 years of imperial rule. But long after the palaces grew silent and the dragon banners were lowered, people would still whisper about the woman behind the curtain, the one who never claimed the throne, but ruled it all the same.